What do you see the role of the big pharma company in this equation going forward?
I see the role as very important. Pharmaceutical companies are all about creating patient value. And actually, the more value we create, the more value we can create also for our shareholders. So the two are very connected right now. So I see that technology is providing me an opportunity to do my job much better, more efficient, to come to discoveries and achievements that I wouldn't dream to do before. And also at the same time, I see that technology will enable overall the healthcare system to become much better, more efficient, more effective, and eventually create health for the world.
It was a warm day in June, and Pfizer was racing to develop a radical new vaccine, based on a technology that had never been approved before. Mr. Bourla and his team were so optimistic they had committed hundreds of millions of dollars to build a global manufacturing network. How the drug makers pulled off cutting the typical time from more than 10 years to under 1, partly stems from their bet on the mRNA gene-based technology. BioNTech researchers thought they could use the genetic sequence of the coronavirus, which had recently been published, to synthesize mRNA that would instruct cells to make a harmless version of the spike protein that protrudes from the surface of the virus. The defanged spike proteins would prompt a person's immune system to produce antibodies that could fight off the real virus. During a March 1 phone call, Dr. Sahin proposed a coronavirus vaccine collaboration with Catherine Janssen, Pfizer's vaccine research chief. Many in pharma were skeptical of mRNA, which had been long in the making but never the basis for an approved product. Pfizer and BioNTech researchers collaborating via video sought to narrow down the number of vaccine candidates from 20. By April 12, the scientists eliminated 16 candidates. They didn't know how to choose among the remaining 4. On April 23, they started trying the 4 candidates on a small number of human volunteers in Germany. Within 2 days of getting 2 of the shots, some subjects developed fevers and chills, signs the vaccines wouldn't be well tolerated. The companies went ahead with testing the other 2 experimental vaccines in the US. On Sunday, June 7, researchers emailed Dr. Janssen the first results from the early-stage trial of the first vaccine candidate. The findings showed the experimental shot produced an antibody response in study subjects, a good sign it could protect against COVID-19. Most of the results didn't arrive until July 23, the day before Pfizer told the FDA it would name a candidate. On July 24, Pfizer and BioNTech agreed to go with the second vaccine candidate. Then on June 30, regulators in the US and Europe said they wanted the late-stage trials to have far more subjects than initially anticipated, 30,000 rather than 8,000. That meant Pfizer and BioNTech would have to make triple the dose supplies it had planned within weeks. The late-stage trial, cleared to start on July 27, began quickly. Within hours, the first 4 healthy volunteers received injections at the University of Rochester Medical Center in upstate New York. Within days, researchers stopped enrolling patients at certain sites, including in New York City. By the end of September, the company had set aside 1.5 million doses to be frozen and ready to ship. Yet most of Pfizer's manufacturing network wouldn't be ready for making shots until October. Despite making enough mRNA for 100 million doses, Pfizer and its partners incurred a 3-week delay securing enough raw materials to make the lipid nanoparticle that wraps around the vaccine. On November 9, Pfizer disclosed it would make 50 million doses this year, half of what Mr. Bourla wanted. However, the chief executive is looking on the bright side. I always try to shoot for the stars, because I know that even if you miss it, you will land somewhere in the moon, he says. But right now it looks like we landed, more or less, in the stars.